Hey guys, I'm just shooting this real quick. You're getting ready to watch me make some absolutely amazing strawberry lemonade. But I wanted to throw this in, just a little support note, or a that's awesome note. My good friend Nat had started her new job yesterday. Still haven't quite found out how well it went yet. She's in school at the moment, so I'll probably find out after school. But we want to celebrate her getting a new job, and we want to. Can't remember what else I was going to say, but I do. But let's support her in her new venture. I do have another friend, Miss Kaylee, who is thinking about going back to school and going part-time at her new job, and we need to celebrate and support her also. So, that being said, you're about to watch me make strawberry lemonade, which turns out amazing, and at the end of the video I give you instructions for pineapple lemonade, which turned out very well. I like it, so I hope you enjoy the video. Let's give everybody that knows these two fine young ladies a round of applause, and we'll have a good day. All right? Enjoy the video. I'll talk to you later. Love you. Tell somebody else you love them. Make their day a whole lot better. All right? Bye. Hey, guys. How you doing today? So today, per request, which is so cool in a way. Well, no, it is cool. We're going to make, I don't know if you're going to see this first or whatever it is I decided to bake first, but we're going to make some concentrate, some juice concentrate. We're going to do a strawberry lemonade. I'm also going to do a pineapple lemonade, but the principle is exactly the same. The ingredients amounts are the same, and we'll discuss that as we go. But today we're going to make some strawberry lemonade concentrate. Now, I got this recipe from Carol, the chic, thrifty housewife, who got this recipe, I want to say, out of the ball preservation book, if I remember right. It's been a while since I watched the video. But anyhow, it's a really good concentrate. It's very refreshing. You can use it as a mixed drink if that's your thing, if you're out adulting. Or, I mean, you can add ginger ale or 7-Up to it and make it like a kid's party drink. Or you could just drink it as a strawberry lemonade. That's how we drink it, for the most part. And it's really good. I can show you the end product. Give me 1 second. In fact, I think I showed you in another video. But I'll show you again anyhow. It looks quite delicious. Now, in the instructions on the ball canning site, the preservation recipe, sorry, I'm watching horror movies from the 50s and 60s. It tells you to skim the top, which is where all the pulp is. I don't do that. It doesn't bother us. But this is what we're going to be making. And it's concentrated enough that you pour this 1 pint into a container, and then you add 3 pints to it. Bam. You get 2 quarts. So, because 2 of these is a quart. But that's how we're going to do it. Okay, so things you're going to need. You are going to need a blender, some large, if you have them, if not, a measuring cup, at least a 1 cup measuring cup. That's all you'll need is a 1 cup measuring cup, and bowls to put your stuff in. I've got big mixing bowls, or measuring bowls, so we'll use that. Then you're also going to need a pot to put it in, and something really important, a candy thermometer. Any kind of candy thermometer, just as long as it's a candy thermometer. Well, a thermometer. You can use a cooking thermometer too, I suppose. Because what we're going to do is we're going to bring it, once we mix it all together in the pot, we're going to bring it up to 190 degrees. You don't want to go any hotter than that, then funny things could happen. You know, it just gets weird. We're not even going to boil this. We just have to get it up to 190 degrees, and once it's at 190 degrees, we turn it off, and we're ready to can. That's how easy this is. All right, so ingredients. 3 of them. Just 3 ingredients to make this. You will need, it says, the ball book says that you can get 7 jars, 7 pints out of this. Carol got 6. When we made it, we got 5. I think it all depends on your strawberries and how they fill it up. So you're going to need 6 cups of strawberries. I haven't blended mine yet, but 6 cups of strawberries. You're going to put them in a blender. We're going to puree them. Now, you can use fresh strawberries, but you're going to have to cut the tops off of them, get the center out of them. I can't remember what it's a core, but it has a specific name. I just can't remember it. So we use frozen strawberries. At the moment, they're still cheaper than buying fresh strawberries, and they're already cut and cored, even the whole ones. So we're good there. The next thing you're going to need is 4 cups of lemon juice. So, this is the thing. Now she used fresh squeezed lemons, and it took her 18 fresh squeezed lemons. The batch that we made and the batch that I'm making today, this is a half and half blend. You can use, and I do use, lemon juice. Her explanation for using all fresh squeezed lemons, which I have some more for the pineapple, was she thought it provided a better flavor for the lemonade. Now, that being said, I use a half and half fresh lemon juice, half bottled lemon juice, and I thought it was still just as refreshing. If you don't want to take the time to squeeze a bunch of lemons, use lemon juice. Lemon juice, I think, personally, it's my opinion, I'm sure somebody will argue with me, tastes about the same as, a standard lemon juice, that you squeeze out of the lemon. We make lemonade out of bottled lemon juice all the time. So it's cheap, it's fun. Abby really likes doing it. It gives her something that she's learned how to do and likes to do. So that being said, fresh squeezed lemons if that's your gig, half and half if that's your gig, or you can just go straight bottled lemon juice. Last thing we're going to need, and you're going to go, oh my God, Brian, this is a lot, is 6 cups of sugar. Plain old granulated, out of the bag, from the pallet at the grocery store sugar. It sounds like a lot of sugar. I mean, in some ways it is. But if you think about it, if you get 6 pints out of it, that is only a cup of pint. And that's the exact same thing you put in Kool-Aid when you make a gallon of Kool-Aid. But it's not overpowering. It's not overpowering at all. You can barely taste the sugar. But it's necessary for preserving. Sugar, not only does it help kind of enhance the flavors, it boosts the flavor, but it acts as a preservative when canning. That's like when you make jellies and jams, it tells you to put a lot of sugar in it, and a lot of that's for preservation. Now, there's ways around it, and you can use alternatives. I don't know what the measurements are for those, so that would be something that you would either have to look up, or if you go to Carol's video on it, which is one of her newer videos, and it's a Thrifty Chic Housewife, and look her up. She actually has a list of alternatives on there. I'm just for real being lazy and didn't look them up because we use real sugar. I mean, this is how we make it. And I want you to be able to research. Remember, I'm always about research. Research, honesty, and being a good friend. So, we need these 3 ingredients. So, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the camera moved, get set up at the stove. I'm going to blend these. I don't really know if you want to see me blend them or not, but I'm literally going to turn the power on, turn it on medium, and let this run for a couple minutes. If you use frozen strawberries, let them thaw first, unless you have a high-powered blender. If you have a high-powered blender, it's still going to take a minute. So let them thaw, let them sit on the counter for a half hour, and not necessarily get room temperature, but you want them refrigerator temperature at any rate. All right, let me get the camera moved, get these blended, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. Got it pureed. So here's a step that I'm not going to do, but you can do. Let's say you don't want the seeds in it, or you can't have the seeds or whatnot. You can strain it. You can pour this through a strainer. Just make sure it is a fine mesh strainer. The seeds on strawberries are really small. So, and if you just use a regular strainer, they'll fall right through. Strainers aren't horribly expensive. You can pick one up for about $6. But like I said, we don't mind the seeds, any of that stuff, so no big deal. All right, hold on for me just 1 second. Let me put this away, put away. All right, let's get you down, staring endlessly into this pot. I know it takes away from you seeing my beautiful face, but this is important. So what we're going to do, this is literally what I do. I got my candy thermometer stuck on the side here. Now, if you're using this style or any style of candy thermometer, you want your thermometer to be about halfway down on the pot. That way, you can kind of see what's going on. If you are using this kind of thermometer, I have found, at least on this pot, it likes to hang out right around the metal clip, likes to hang out right around the 190 mark. You don't want that. So, well, I mean, it's okay. Just make sure you're relevant of it. And I found out making the last batch, the test batch, that it goes from 150 to 190 super quick. So you don't want to walk away from it. All right. So, all we got to do is dump our strawberries in there, like such. And make sure you have I mean, you can use a saucepan. Just make sure it's a big enough saucepan to accommodate all your needs. I have one, but you want to make sure you have one also. Put that in the sink, and then we're just going to add, so we got our 6 cups of strawberries. Now when you put your strawberries in the blender, it's going to look like a bunch of cups, but it's really only 6. You want 6 cups before blending, not after. You're going to add your 4 cups of lemon juice. And then we're going to add our 6 cups of sugar. I'm going to heat this on medium high-ish. It's number 6 on the stove. I never quite have understood the whole medium high, medium low, because there is no medium high or medium low section or label on a stove. So I'm under the impression that medium high is anything above the word medium, medium low is anything below the word medium. So all we're going to do, I got this on about 6.5, 7-ish. And I'm going to let this go and stir occasionally. We want the sugar to dissolve, get it all blended up, and we want it at 190 degrees. All right, well, as soon as we're there, we'll work on the next step, which is going to be canning. And we'll talk about canning when I come back. All right, I'll see you here in just 1 second. All right, so we just got it up to 190. I went ahead and took it off the burner and put it on the stove here. Sorry about that. I got traffic coming through. I don't know if you can hear that really loud car that needs a muffler. That's very popular in my town. So anyhow, I just pulled it off the stove. It got to 190. That's what we needed. So, and you'll see, yeah, you can see it. There's some foam on the top here. Well, you can skim that off. But realistically, it's not going to hurt or affect your product in any way. It just makes it less, it makes it more aesthetically pleasing in the jar if you don't see that little layer of foam and pulp at the top. But personally, we don't care about that. It doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't affect the taste, the flavor. It won't kill you. That's my biggest concern is, will it hurt you? Now, as far as your jars go, unless your jars are brand new, you don't have to do anything more than wash them, let them dry. You do have to keep them, you do have to warm them up. You don't have to put them in a warming container or anything like that. You can put them in, I just fill my sink up with hot water and I set them in there. That brings them up to temp. Your lids, at least with ball, you don't have to sterilize them anymore in a pot of hot water. You don't have to keep them on the stove. Wash them, let them dry, and they're good to go. If you use cold jars or room temperature jars, there is always a slight chance that when you put your hot product in that jar, you could shatter the jar. So put them in a sink of hot water. It's not that challenging. While that was going up to temp, I did up my dishes. I got my water bath pot out, got some water in it, and it's warming up at the moment. Now, that being said, if you don't have a water bath container like that, a big 23-quart pot, you can use just about any stock pot. It's just very important that you have something to put in the bottom of it to separate your jar from the bottom of the pot. What can happen is as the water bubbles, those jars start bouncing. If they're directly on the bottom, you can shatter the bottom of them. And then you've got a big pot full of, this case, strawberry lemonade that's been watered down for you already. And it probably won't taste that good depending on the type of pot you're using. So if you have a cooling rack that's round that'll fit down in a pot, you know, like we've got the 12-quart pots over there, you can use that. It just has to have a rack on the bottom of it because we don't need pressure. We're just water bath canning. When we put those in the canner, you're going to want to make sure that the water in the canner is at least an inch above whatever it is you're canning. In this case, it's pints. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these in. I'm going to show you how to can them. And we're going to let them boil for 15 minutes. I'll talk some more about that here in just 1 second. But let's get busy putting these in jars before everything cools down. All right, so you can see I got my lids right there. Got my jars here. Things you will need. A funnel. Preferred, I mean, you don't need it, but it makes it a lot easier. A ladle, jars. I've got a small bowl of vinegar right here, and a paper towel. That way we can wipe down our jars as we go. All right, so another thing real quick, water bath canning versus pressure canning. I think I touched on this one time in a video. I want to touch on it again real quick, see if I can find one. See how this one's got writing all over it? This one does not. Water bath canning only. Should not pressure can these. They can break. They're made differently. These, pressure can them. And water bathing. So water bath only, pressure canning. Alright, so you take your jar, you put your funnel on it. We're going to fill these up to a 1/4 inch from the top. Which is about 3 ladles full, but we're gonna check it as we get close to the top. 1/4 inch isn't very far. So, and for those of you that have followed me with canning before, you know I've got a handy dandy, I don't have one of those fancy plastic container or canning sticks. I've got a stick. But I've got measurements on here. 1 inch, 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. So all I want to do, once I get it close, is bring it up here and go, oh, it's almost there. And if you need to know, if you don't have a stick per se, I can show you where it is on the jar. So that way, yeah, but if you don't have a stick, just go buy the kit. They're like 14 bucks. On a jar, they are located, follow this rim up here. You don't want to go all the way to the top, but it's about halfway down the first rim right there. It's about a 1/4 inch. Once you've canned for a while, you will kind of get to know where it's at. So after you pour that in there, we're going to take our paper towel. We're going to dip it in the vinegar. Squeeze out the excess, and ooh-wee, that's hot. We're going to wipe the rim down. We don't want anything on that rim. Remember, you got a bunch of sugar in there. You could run the risk of it not sealing. You're going to put center your lid on there. We're going to put the ring on top of the lid. Now, finger tight. You say, what is finger tight? Because that could be up for interpretation. Okay, so here is finger tight. When you grab your jar, you twist it on, you go until your fingers can't move it anymore. You don't use your palm and force it. Fingers. That's finger tight. Once it's done, we just simply set it in the water bath canner. All right, I'll show you one more. And then we will go ahead and talk briefly about what we need to know for canning these. All right, so once again, and in my case, it's about 3 ladles worth. But yours might be different depending on the size of your ladle. But we're going to bring it up to where you have a 1/4 inch of head space. That's what that's called, is head space. And that's the distance between the top of the liquid and the top of the jar. And all we want to do is fill it up close to the top, grab our stick, measure it. We're at a 1/4 inch. That's beautiful. We're going to take our paper towel with the vinegar on it. We're going to wipe this off so that way we know we don't have any sugar on there. We're going to take our lid and we're going to put our ring on, finger tight, and place it in the jar. Please be very careful because these jars are going to be very hot. All right, I'm going to get these other ones done, and when I come back, we'll talk some more. All right, see you in a second. Okay, so I got the rest of my jars filled. I ended up getting exactly 6 pints out of that. It makes me happy because that means I did it. I used the proper amount of strawberries. When you're using whole fruits and trying to measure them out, it gets a little weird. The last time when we made these last week, I used gram weights per cup of strawberries, and I think that's maybe where I went wrong. Instead of just using the actual measuring cup, dumping them in there. But anyhow, I got 6 pints. Now, this particular pot holds up to 8 pints on its first floor. So what I did, so that way they don't rattle around and move a whole lot, I had 2-quart jars sitting up here. I filled them up with water and just stuck them in there as place, to help everything else stay in place, to fill in the holes. That way I know they don't roll around. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the rest of my vinegar. I had 2 tablespoons of vinegar in here, 2 tablespoons-ish. And what I didn't use to wipe down the rims with, I'm going to pour it in there. What that does is it keeps the outside of your jars clean. Almost all water, well water or city water, has some mineral deposits in it. Minerals like to collect on glass. By doing that, it keeps the outsides of them clean. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my lid on there. All right, now, then, like I said, it doesn't matter what kind of container you use. When you water bath, you can use a 12-quart pot for that matter, a stock pot. But make sure you have something on the bottom of it. Something even like this is the one for this 23-quart canner here, but I have one that's smaller than this that does fit into my 12-quart pot. That way I don't have to worry about it. But you want to put your lid on there. If not, and some of you probably know this already, but if you don't set a lid on top of your pot, the water will take forever to boil. I know in this particular one, with it being the amount I have in here and how much water is in there, because this thing's about half full of water, it would take 45 minutes before it starts boiling, even on the highest number. Where now, it's only going to take about 10 minutes. So, let's talk about times. Once you are at a full boil, once that thing is just going nuts like you need it to, 15 minutes, okay? You're going to let it boil with the lid on it for 15 minutes. The next thing you're going to do after that is, once your timer goes off for 15 minutes, you're going to shut your heat off. You're going to let it sit here for 10 minutes, minimum 10 minutes. Then you can take your lid off, let it sit for as long as you want to after that, but at least 10 minutes. That gives it time to kind of settle down. It's kind of like when we cook and I let things sit after I pull it out of the oven or off the stove or the grill or anything else. You let it sit and rest for about 10 minutes. And then you're done. And there's nobody out there, Sam. And then after that, we'll talk about the next step. All right. While we get this boiled and boiling and going, and once it's done, I'll be back. All right? I'll see you here in just 1 second. All right, so we still have a couple minutes before we can pull them out, but I let them water bath for 15 minutes. I turned the heat off. I waited like 2 minutes, and then I took the lid off. And when you take your lid off, let me grab the lid real quick. When you take your lid off, all right, you don't want to lift it towards you. What happens is you push all that steam right into your face. It can hurt. You want to lift it away from you. That way the steam goes off that direction and away from your face. So we've let it sit for, like I said, it's probably got a couple more minutes before we can take it out. Before we hit that 10-minute mark. And it's okay if it goes over. It's no big deal. All right, so I said that I was going to make a pineapple lemonade concentrate next. We found a recipe for it. And I did some research on it to make sure it was a legit recipe. Because there's a lot out there that aren't certified by BAL or the National Institute for Food Preservation. And you don't want to stray too far from that. I mean, because it can make you sick. Canning, for all its coolness, really, if you follow the rules, is great. If you don't follow the rules, it can get you into trouble quick and make you very sick or even kill you. Nobody wants to die. So make sure you follow the rules and double check. Even double check on me and the things I'm telling you. I do my best to make sure I'm as accurate as possible because I don't want to make anybody sick either. And everything we've made so far, nobody's gotten sick because I follow the rules. Rules are important. All right, so the pineapple lemonade we're going to make next is the exact same process, nothing different. The ingredients list is still 3 ingredients. You're going to do 6 cups of sugar, 4 cups of lemon juice, and 6 cups of pineapple. That's the only difference. And this recipe was 6 cups of strawberries. The recipe I'm going to use for the pineapples is 6 cups of pineapples. I'll let you know next Tuesday's video how they turn out, if they have a good taste to them. I'm sure they will. This is very, like I said, this particular recipe is amazing. It's got a good strawberry flavor. It's got a good lemonade flavor. It's very refreshing. And I can say it will be amazing as a mixer also, if that's your thing. All right, so these are ready to come out. They've been in there for 10 minutes. Things you will need to take it out with. Tongs. I no longer have my, oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. When you get tongs, see how those look? They're nice and green, got the rubber coating on them. If they start to become like this, get a new set. This is dangerous. They can slip and fall. If you can't get a good grip on it and that breaks, remember, this is well over 200 degrees. It will burn you. All right, so you want to be careful. Don't be scared, but be careful. Pay attention to what you're doing. Make sure there's nothing on the floor that you can trip on. Make sure there are kids running in and out. Speaking of kids, check this out. Abby made us some artwork today. Looks absolutely amazing. I love it. We'll frame it and add it to her art collection. We actually have a small thing on the wall that's got pieces of her work on it, and I think they're great. So anyhow, we're going to go ahead and get these pulled out and take a look at them. Like I said, you want to be careful. When you put your tongs around the jar, you want to make sure you lift it straight out. Try not to tilt it if possible, like I just did. And there is our concentrate. So, see how where I got it at below the lid? That's why that lip, the 1-inch mark, is on these jars. You want to try and grab it there. If you grab the lid itself, what happens is, if you grab the lid itself, you'll squeeze that ring, right? Because you'll have a death grip on it because you'll be nervous. And it actually will release the seal, or cause product to come out. You can burn yourself. I don't want to see that happen. So, take your time, go slow. There's no rush. We're doing this for you and your family. It's not like you're at work and you got to hurry through the day. You just got to take them out and go. All right, so as to not keep you, because I know you have a busy schedule, I'll pull those remaining 4 out after we talk. So that's canning 101. Take your time with it. It's a great recipe. Things to do after you pull them out of the canner. You want to let it sit on a stable environment. I'm putting mine on the countertop, on the other end of the countertop, where my camera usually sits. I'm going to let them sit there for 12 to 24 hours. Okay? Yeah, that's important. 12 to 24 hours. You want them to sit. Once they are done, if you notice that one I brought out earlier did not have the ring on it anymore, just the lid. So you want to, sorry, Sam barks. I didn't see if somebody was walking down the alley. After you've let them sit and they've dinged, they're going to make that ping noise that tells you they're sealed. You'll hear a pop, or ping. That'll tell you that it's sealed properly. The other way you're going to check it, here, let me just get that jar back out so I can show you. Well, actually, here, I got a jar of pear butter. That is absolutely amazing, by the way, and come the holidays, you'll probably see how to do it. But when you grab it by the ring. Okay, that's the way you know that it's sealed. You should be able to hold that by the ring, or by the lid, not by the jar, by the lid. If you can hold it like that, even for just a second, it's sealed. The other way you can tell is right here in the middle. If you play with it before you can them, it'll pop up and down. You know, it'll go dee 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 dee. This one doesn't do that anymore. It's sunk down in, it vacuumed itself. I can hold it by this. We're good to go. After you determine that, you've taken your rings off, don't put your rings back on. Get a bag, put them in a bag. That way you know if it does go bad and you go to grab it off the shelf and the lid falls off, you know you throw it away. Just throw the product away and find a different jar. That is a good breeding ground for botulism. So we've let them cool for 12 to 24 hours. We've taken the rings off of them. We've lifted them up. They're being held by the lid, so we know there's a good seal on it. Next thing you want to do is write the date on it and what it is. Because trust me, you can't enough stuff, you'll forget what it is, or you'll look at it and go, well, I think it's that, and all of a sudden you're opening up the wrong thing. So write what it is on the lid and the date. I don't know how long this is good for, but I know the ball lids guarantee a seal for 18 months. So I'm gonna say this is good for at least 6 to 8 months, or even longer. There's some stuff that is good for years. But that being said, hopefully it won't last. You try this, you're gonna be like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing ever. Thank you, Brian, for bringing this into my life. You're welcome. And it's gonna go quick. I know stuff like this goes quick in my house. So ring off, lift it up. It's being held by its seal. You've wrote what it is and the date on it. You're going to store it. You're not going to store it in your window where the sun comes in every day. You're going to store this in a cabinet. Idealistically, cool, dark place. Mine's my basement. 65 to 70 degrees, which is my basement. That's ideal for maximum. I'm going to keep it for as long as I possibly can. But at least go not in direct sunlight, preferably in a cabinet, pantry, whatever, and it'll stay. Like I said, I'm going to give it a good guess of 6 to 8 months. But please don't hold me to that. And hopefully it won't last that long in your house. The ball company itself guarantees their lids to be seal proof for 18 months. And if you followed all the rules, I don't know why you wouldn't get that out of it. But anyhow, that is how you make a strawberry lemonade concentrate. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm probably not going to tag another video onto this, although I may bake something later in the week and go from there. I will let you know with next Tuesday's video how the pineapple lemonade turned out. It sounds good and very refreshing, so I don't know why it wouldn't be good. And we'll take it from there. If you try this, let me know. Okay? If you didn't like it, let me know. I'd just be interested to hear. So, anyhow, I love you. Tell somebody else you love them very much. I hope you enjoyed canning with me and you try this. And I will talk to you later. All right? Bye.